It's time to talk about the final Vacation film. Vacation, the 2015 reboot. Released by Warner Brothers July 29th, 2015, starring Ed Holmes of The Hangover, Christina Applegate, and Leslie Mann, and Chris Hemsworth even plays in this. Produced by David Dolken, and written and directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis, who's also, they both done like Game Night. Jonathan Goldstein has also done In the Dark, oh, In the Dark, In the Dark, the TV show, and Dungeons and Dragons, the TV show, or the new remake that's coming out. Sorry, and John Francis has done Francis Daly has done Freaks and Geeks, Bones TV show, and a film called Waiting he's done. So yeah, they have like their own like good things. Now, Game Night was a pretty good film. That's the first one they pretty much did together. So I was looking forward to seeing this one. Yeah, and it had a budget or box office earnings of $107.2 million, which is like a moderate success these days. Yeah, but yeah. So I was looking into seeing this, and it was definitely interesting. So basically, Vacation is Rusty Griswold, Clark Griswold's son, taking his family on their first road trip vacation. So it's, yeah, somewhat loosely connected, where he's going to go to Wally World, where it's like their final year or something like that. So he wants to go there and show them the fun time that he had with his dad and stuff. So he goes and he buys this really weird European car, which is terrible for it and stuff. It's basically two cars put back to back, infused together, and with weird gadgets and stuff. And they go on this cross country road trip where they run into some weird odd things happen. Like they go to the four corners of all the states, meet up and want to hook up there and stuff, be all goofy, and everyone's there, and then they get caught. Yeah, a lot of stupid little gags here and there on the road trip, but this film was pretty terrible, I gotta say. I absolutely, all it is potty jokes, half of it and stuff, and really annoying, like an older brother and a younger brother. The older brother lets the younger brother push him around and beat on him and stuff, and it's up to him and a girl he falls in love with on the trip to teach him how to stand up for himself. And and then they all sort of like get into a scuffle at the end and stuff. It's really just pointless jokes that didn't really correlate well with the story of what they were doing. It's just randomness stuff. It's like Scary Movie. It was just a whole bunch of random jokes put into the same situation. Most of it's stuff we've seen before, and it was just dull, bland, and a waste of time. I was actually pretty bored through this. I think I laughed once through it, and that's like the Sex at the Four Corners thing was mildly amusing. But for the most part, and I laughed at the Chevy Chase and his wife's cameo running a running what do you call it, a bed and breakfast and stuff. That was pretty funny. But for the rest of it, it seemed like they didn't know what they were doing, and they just wanted to cash in on like the Vacation sort of franchise and try to bring it back. But of course, you can't bring it back with the terrible writing of comedy. As films are hit and miss big time these days. This is so far out in the miss field that I don't know what the hell they're thinking. How did it get approved? Who knows? Maybe old pile producers thought it was a great idea, like majority of the stuff, like the Mummy reboot. Yeah. Seems like people these days can't grasp that you can't reboot it for just the sake of rebooting it. So, yeah, like Vacation still stands up today. Even the sequel still somewhat stand up today. Why would you reboot it? Like, I know there's like possible money. You could probably make a decent amount if you actually know what you're doing, but with all the lame, childish attempts to this, it's like they're trying to make a family comedy fit into an R-rated film. It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I was really confused and disappointed with this, because Game Night was actually a well thought out film, well put together, And this seemed like they just quickly wrote some quick jokes down, trying to mesh it all into a story. And like the concept wasn't that bad. It was just, and there's some good like um, Easter eggs from the other films in it and stuff. But for the most part, it was just boring. It looked cheap, and it felt cheap, and it looked like one of those $5 stand-up comedy gigs where you just sit there to have a little moan. Yeah, sadly, this is a terrible comedy and should never be watched. I do not like it. It wasn't the best. There is a few mild scenes. That's why I'm going to give it a higher rating than usual for most of these things. But man, was I disappointed after watching all the other ones. And I'm like, oh yeah, this next one's going to keep it going. Absolutely not. This one gets a 1 out of 5. It's pretty terrible. Definitely not funny. Some people might find it funny. If you are, let me know in the comments, because I don't know. Either I missed something or this whole generation's the exact opposite of me. So, till the next one, hopefully we can find some other film better than this. And it's just disappointing that stuff like this is still coming out and somehow making it to theaters, even though there's 10 times more top great comedies and stuff being left on the curb and somehow aren't being noticed, which is weird. But yeah, so Vacation gets a 1 out of 5 from me. Yeah, there's a trailer link down below if you really want to check it out. It's down below if you never even knew if it existed like I did. And yeah, so you can check it out. Also, link down below is my Instagram where I always post clips of films when I review in the future on my story. And I usually have the film title and hashtag and subgenre film and the hashtag so you're aware of it. Or you can follow me on Letterbox at Derek P Reviews. That's where I post my first star rating right after watching the first film. So yeah, make sure you follow me on one of those two to stay in the loop. Comment your opinions of the film down below. Let me know what your thoughts. Also, let me know what your favorite vacation film is. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that too. Also, if you have any films or film franchises that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below. Watch any genre. So yeah, let me know down below. And yeah, make sure you like this video, share it so more people are aware of it, and make sure you subscribe, because I'm definitely going to be checking out some weird films coming up, and you know, hopefully we find something weird and interesting and cool, and something a little more entertaining than this garbage vacation. Yeah, together. So yeah, but disappointed, but there's always going to be a better comedy out there, which we'll probably find sooner or later. So yeah, with that, that's what I think of Vacation. I guess I'll see you all in the next review. Hopefully you go on vacation is not a big train wreck like this film. So till the next one, cheers.